Which one are you more of, Luke? Are you more of a my eyes, my eyes? That's the thing, last thing my brother said. Or you're more of a my inke? Well, it's okay.
I like the eyes, aim for the eyes is what my brother said type guy. Just because it's so unnecessary, but at the same time, there's some real charm to that.
Or I'm more of a Grizel saying, "Look at you waiting here like a good boy." I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? Eh?
Is that a what the fuck like? What the fuck like? I don't like that, or is that a what the fuck like? What the fuck?
Bit of both. Bit of a don't threaten me with a good time, but why am I getting this in a Pokemon game?
Yeah, fair enough. Although I'm fully on board with it if they want to keep adding those dialogue options in the future.
Pokemon Legend ZA has been out for a while now, and it's fair to say I've had a very good time here. There's some good, there's some bad, there's some ugly, and now that I'm finally wrapped up with the game, I'd say we get some thoughts on the whole game as a whole. I've done a first impressions, which I will link in the description, but that's not necessarily a required viewing for this, as we're going to go through all the categories that I spoke about in that video, and give our thoughts post-game, really. And who else to talk them to with than my good friend, Luke. Hello, Luke.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Misty.
Hello. You have a YouTube channel of your own, right?
I do, Professor Lukey, where I'm hopefully going to be chucking some more sort of ideas, more Pokemon stuff out there, because I love this game, which we're going to get into.
We'll do some more shilling for you later. But for now, I got the same running order as my first impressions video, so we're just going to go from the top and just let the conversation run, really. So the first topic is Lumiose as a setting. I wrote down, it feels alive, but it's quite samey. Even having beaten the game, it feels like it could have used more daily events, like a safari zone, a bug catching contest. The smaller restrictive wild zones left me a bit wanting, even if it does make sense in the plot. Also doesn't help that with the catching from PLA, like some of the mechanics like the gyro controls, maybe the smoke bombs and the mud balls, haven't really returned the same way. Having no mount was definitely a bit of a miss, but traversing rooftops is very fun, and those construction challenges break up the pace quite nicely. And everyone knows the buildings, right? They're the loveliest graphics of all time. But so, Luke, what did you think? Does the City of Lumiose work?
Yes and no. I think that the main issue that a lot of Lumiose has is that a lot of its plus points are also drawbacks, in that it doesn't feel quite as expansive as what it could. Like Legends Arceus, it was great being able to go into the wild areas, and it feels quite big. But also the fact that plays into the story with Lumiose. It occupies quite a weird space in my mind where I'm like, okay, it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. I'm not particularly upset with it. There's definitely things that it could be improved upon, as you said just a second ago. But yeah, it sort of works.
Because that's how I think about it, right? There's again, the rooftops are fun, but then the wild zones are kind of small. And then, there's no mount, but the PL style of catching just feels fun. The question is, though, was it interesting enough to keep you hooked from start to end? At any point when you played, were you just like, oh, this is fucking city, man?
I found it quite interesting anyway. All the new wild zones, it was intriguing to see what was in there. I think that the story, which we'll get onto later, really had me quite hooked. I think, as you say, though, a lot of the issues are that it's quite samey, and that, we could have done with more daily events. I think the bug catching event could have been really interesting.
Yeah, because there's some side missions that kind of allude to that. There's this guy with a Budu who's just like, hey, if you got a Budu, come with me. And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe a daily thing where you catch a Pokemon and then just judge it based on random criteria. And then they give you money or you win or something. I don't know. That could have been quite fun, right? It just needed a bit more to flesh it out. Because while I feel I think one of the criticisms is that the city feels kind of lifeless. I was I disagree. It does feel like it's full of stuff. It's just not full of stuff people want to do. I think I saw a clip on Twitter where someone mentioned that City Hall, for example, this big building which, stands out from the rest. So you think you'd be able to go inside, but no. It's just a JPEG door. So I'm just again, it feels like it's just missing the extra bit to really make you feel in love with the setting,
Yeah, I think it has character to it. The city as a whole, which is good, but it's quite surface level. You see people rushing about. There's some really nice bits where you see trainers running about with their Pokemon, and their Pokemon running at different speeds and stuff like that. And it's quite nice. Some of the dialogue options that we've sort of alluded to already are quite interesting. The issue is that a lot of it is still quite surface level. And as you say, if they could add just that little bit more character with something, I think it would feel even more alive, which is probably the only real shame.
Because it feels like you've got a good base, and we could evolve on this. But you know how Pokemon's right? The next game's going to fucking take place in Fuckasia, and we're going to be catching Flumbus, the legendary cat that steals people's toys. I don't know, you know what I mean? Pokemon's just going to go in a different direction, you know what I mean? It's just a shame, isn't it?
It really is, because it feels like it's an opportunity to perfect it, but I guess It depends what they do with Legends now, because it does feel like both Legends have sort of, well, this Legends has basically grown off the back of the other one, but in a totally different direction.
It feels like it can go anywhere, can't they?
Yeah, I think so, and that's what makes it interesting. Because I was looking at what they said when they announced this game, and they said it was ambitious, and I definitely think it's ambitious now. We've played it, because we've not really had another Pokemon game like it, even with Legends Arceus. That ambitiousness is always going to come with plus points and negative points, and I think that's always going to be the challenge for them. But that's what I think, in my opinion, Legends should be. It's an opportunity to break the formula a little bit, whether you like it or not, and then there's always going to be the tried and tested, and it's about coming back to that. Where do you feel comfortable, and where do you push the boundaries, and what things come back?
Definitely. If, like, what's it? Legends becomes like our new, like, the de facto, even though it's considered mainline, it becomes like our de facto spin-off, so to speak, where it's like the Pokemon style, but like twisted around. I'm okay with that. I think all of us are kind of okay with that, right? As much as we love our mystery dungeons and our rangers, if we could, I would say Legends as like that stand-in for Pokemon just gonna try something weird. I'm okay with that, you know. And I feel like the setting of Lumiose was good. I don't know if I ever want to revisit it, but I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might revisit it in a different way with the DLC, but
the
like,
Mega Dimensions.
who knows? Who knows what they could throw up? There could be. I mean, again, we'll probably get onto this later, but like alternate ones of Lumiose in another dimension, stuff like that.
Evil fucked up Lumiose, Luke. Oh my god, that's
I drew like an evil fucked up Lumiose.
I can't wait to see evil Lumiose in the Mega Dimension. But overall, just to finish up on this, the Wild Zones, like as a whole, like more yay than nay or more nay than yay?
Ooh.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 50-50.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm pressing you for an answer. I need an answer,
yeah,
really.
I'm going to say more nay than yay. That's because, personally, I quite like exploring, and I quite like going, oh, what's this Pokemon? Oh, there's something over there. Let me go and look at it. And I felt that with Legends Arceus, and I haven't felt that with this, because the Wild Zones are so small. They're so restrictive. And that's not me completely slamming on them. I still like elements of it, and I think it's a really interesting concept. It's just too small, and that's just because of the setting. And as we've said, there's the negatives and the plus of being in Lumiose. This is one of the negatives for me. But it depends what you like about Pokemon. If you like battling, this is the game for you. If you like catching and exploring, Legends Arceus is the game for you. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's to the point where the Wild Zones were like so like restrictive on it, because again, I had fun, as you do, but it was to the point where I had probably more fun catching stuff outside of the Wild Zones than in the Wild Zones. Because like the Wild Zones are like what Pokemon is kind of accused of, in the sense that, oh, you just kind of took a place and slapped a bunch of Pokemon in there, which when you do that in a 2D space, so like you have some grassy patch and like there's a bunch of Pokemon in there, there's at least a suspension of disbelief that it's like, oh, there's creepy, crawly Pokemon hiding in the grass. Or like maybe a Pidgey swooped down and got you as you're in the grass. But like when it's just, oh, hey, it's Zone 1 and there's Scuttlebugs and a Weedle and then a Fletchling maybe behind a car, it's just kind of nah. But when I find like a Trubbish near trash bins, or like Espers like hiding in courtyards, or like Fletchlings on top of lampposts, that's kind of the thing I've always imagined Pokemon to be, you know? Like, it's the thing I liked at PLA as well. Like sometimes you'd break some of those rocks to get like like the stones, I think, whatever they're called, and sometimes like a Geodude will pop out. Like, what the fuck? Where'd you come from, bro? That sort of thing. Like those sort of like contextual Pokemon locations are what I've always loved, and it's a shame that Lumiose didn't really give me that as much as I would like, you know?
Yeah, it's awkward, because I think that's sort of part of the discussion. Is it's like, well, you know, it's part of the story that they're putting them in this Wild Zone. So on the one hand, you go, I kind of can't blame them, because they've found a way to make it work within the story. But also, it as a game mechanic, it does not feel as fun.
Yeah. Because like, I give them props for making it make sense in the story. But at the end of the day, I'm playing the game. I'm not reading the game. Which I am reading the game. Just to clarify, I'm not one of them Pokemon fans. Okay, I am reading the game. It's just I'm playing more than I am reading.
Yeah.
Just to make it clear, all right? We're not one of those, are we, Luke? we love story in our JRPG genre that famously has stories, right?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, most people would be like, people don't play Pokemon for the stories. I really enjoyed the Pokemon stories. I don't know if that's just if I'm in the minority there or what, but I quite enjoy. They're not going to be the most in-depth things that you ever play, but I quite enjoy them. I
think the thing with Pokemon stories is that I think the gameplay loop and the gameplay of what Pokemon is so fun that people just kind of go like, people see the story as kind of bolted on.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the issue. People, but obviously Pokemon fans also can't read. But also, yeah, that's also the other bit. Like you can't imagine Persona 3 without the story. Like you just can't. Like,
No.
you don't even have a game at that point. You could imagine Pokemon without a story. That's Pokemon Red and Blue, basically. Here's a Pokedex. Your rival tells you to smell you later, and you're off. We've had that before, so I think that's kind of why people yearn for it. But we'll get onto the story in a minute. Let's talk about the gameplay loop next, shall we? One thing I really like about the gameplay loop, as much as Lumiose's setting probably, while I like it, hasn't enamored me too hard. I'm not particularly married to it. I feel like the gameplay loop is quite a bit of fun without doing anything too crazy. It feels like you're always doing something, even if it feels like busy work. You're kind of doing something. There's side missions to go on. There's new wild zones being available. The battle zones at night. Chilling out during the day, the promotion matches being that like finite point for you to reach once you've like collected mega shards and colorful screws, and there's always like something to do, and you can kind of do it at your own pace. It almost feels like a more concentrated version of SV, because SV you kind of had all these like the Arvin quest, you had the Team Star quest, and you had the Gym Bat quest, right? Whereas in this one, it feels like a bit more focused and like narrowed down. So it feels like you're finding interesting things around every corner more often than not. The question is though, Luke, the question I'm going to ask you: do you like this direction for Pokemon?
Yeah, I'd say so, because I think there's a little bit of something for everyone. I think, as you said, it sort of feels like a more refined version of the Scarlet and Violet stuff, where it's like, hey, we 1 minute we're dealing with Rogue Megas, then we're dealing with promotion matches, which are technically your gym badges, and I think all of that feels quite amusing. As you say, I think it being refined from Scarlet and Violet is what makes it feel better, because I think the issue with Scarlet and Violet is it was probably a little bit too hands off, because you could go and do all the Titans if you want, and it's like, okay, that's that story, but then there's another story where you're completely behind at a different point, and there was no way to really follow it. Like, that was one of the main criticisms.
Because, like, again, with PLZA, you have, like, the finite point of the promotion match. You can do side quests, you can get shards, you can get battle zone. The finite point is the promotion match. You know that's the end goal you're working towards. Whereas with SV, they kind of just scattered every point on the map and expect you to figure it out. Whereas, like, anyone playing that game now needs, like, an intended level order guide to play it kind of quote-unquote properly. Whereas PLZA doesn't really have that problem. So when we say refined, I think that's kind of what we mean. Like, some people probably like the more open scope of SV, but I just kind of like how it all feels like it's like to a point, you know?
Yeah, it all feels much more focused to me.
Yes, that's the word I was thinking of, focus, thank you.
Yeah, I just think that's where it's gone, and I don't mind that at all. Like, some people might suggest it's handholdy or something, but for me, I like the idea of it being focused in that way. But there's so much to do. Like, you know, if you really want to go and blaze through the story, you can. Feel free. But if you sit there and go, actually, I'm going to have a little look through the wild zones, I'm going to do some of the side missions and that are around, then you can. And I quite like that. I think one thing I will say as well is that the colourful screws feels like a fetch quest that isn't that imposing. You know, like before we've had like the Zygarde cells and stuff, and they're a real pain, and there was a little bit of a worry that that'd be back. With the colourful screws, it's kind of like, hey, you can sort of see them as you go, and if you want to pick them up, yeah, and there's, you know, a fun little bit of parkour to get there, but like it's one of those where it doesn't impose itself on you. So like, this is an optional side quest which will help you, but you don't have to do it. The only thing they probably don't get right with it is like somewhere on a map somewhere to where you could get a hint as to where things are, because if I've got one left and I've not got a clue where it is.
Yeah. Sorry. You mean there's a collectible that collectibles that aren't marked on the map day one? Welcome back, Mario Kart World. Oh my god. Wow. Crazy. There seems to be a trend with that. This is the dark trend that people aren't talking about with the Nintendo Switch 2, Luke. They like to waste your fucking time. and it's quite, and honestly, we need to start beating the drum on this. But yeah, like, I'm not really that big on collectibles. It's the reason I've never played Banjo-Kazooie. People have been telling me for years, like, you gotta play Banjo-Kazooie, Misty. And I'm sure like it might be one of the good ones, because I've played, like, for example, A Hat in Time. And as a collectathon, I really like that game. So when I see like the colourful screw quest, I'm just like, it's almost like I'm doing the collectathon thing, but the game, like, it's so hands off with it, I don't realise I'm doing it.
Yeah. You just see it and you're like, oh, brilliant, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And, I've just been reminded of the one in the one for the Swords of Justice in the DLC for Sword and Shield.
Wait, what was that one again?
Do you remember you had to find the footprints in the snow?
Oh, that was so bad.
That was so bad.
My god. I completely forgot about that. Do you know what was also kind of bad? The swords, the Treasures of Ruin in SV.
Yeah.
Those were ass as well, man. Like, you think about just think about how far we've come from that. Like, people, like, I'm collecting colourful screws just for the fun of it. And meanwhile, I'm looking up a guide to get those fucking swords off the ground in SV. I'm like, what the hell? They've come a long way in a short time.
Yeah, that's not me saying in the future that they shouldn't do fetch quests to some degree.
No, don't make an ass.
They need to feel fun. They need to feel like you're going out of your way and you're going, hey, this is kind of fun. Like, I'm not having to put too much brain power to this. I don't necessarily want to be given Pokemon in the Pokemon Center. I know everyone finds that really fun with the gift Pokemon to complain about that. Oh, I don't get to go to GameStop anymore to go and get my code.
Oh yeah, no one's complaining. There's a bots, Luke. There's a clankers complaining about that, man. Everyone hates that shit.
Yeah. But so I'm not saying they should just give it to us anymore, but it shouldn't feel like work. It should feel like fun. And if you're not playing a game to have fun, what are you playing it for? You know?
It's so true, bestie. How do you feel about the side missions in this game? Because in PLA, I thought the side missions were just okay. Like, I feel like there was one too many. Like, I like them in the idea of them, which is this whole idea of people and Pokemon are kind of just like figuring out how to work together. And there were maybe a couple of standouts. You know how, like, in the lore or the Pokedex lore, Drifloon likes to snatch children away? There was a side mission where, like, that was about to happen and you stopped one from happening. You stopped the Driftnons, right? And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I feel like an OG for that. There's a couple of cool ones like that. But overall, if you ask me to remember any more than that, I cannot for the life of me. Whereas the side missions in this game, I feel like were done so much better. There's like, off the top of my head right now, having done all of that, I feel like I can remember a lot more. That Demon Pikachu comes to mind. Have you seen the Demon Pikachu?
I have not, no.
Oh my god, when you get to the Demon Pikachu, you're going to DM me literally saying, Musti, I know what you mean about the Demon Pikachu. The Freeflow Elite Four, have you seen that?
No. I've done a handful of side missions. It's probably the one thing I have left to do in the game, really.
I'm telling you, a lot of them are really fun. Again, Freeflow Elite Four, the Demon Pikachu. Oh, like what, the Mega Frostlass that you end up, the Rogue Mega Frostlass you end up beating.
I've seen about that.
Ends up actually like giving you a memento. Like, it remembers you and it gives you a memento to appreciate you, which is just, it's a short one, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. There's also a Five Nights at Litwick's. If you know, you know. I'm not going to say any more than that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a couple of fetch questy ones where it's like, oh, there's a thing happening. But I really do like, even the ones that aren't that good, or aren't that memorable, should I say, and are just a bit side mission-y, coincide with the theme of people and Pokemon working together, which it's interesting how even though PLA was like hundreds of years ago, in like feudal Japan era Hisui, and now we're in like modern day Lumiose, they managed to keep those themes going. I always thought it was kind of interesting.
It's one of those where from the ones that I've done so far, I find them a lot more interesting because they feel like they've got more character built in. I quite like the ones that seem to have are either absolutely outright ridiculous. So have you done the one with the the Pancham that steals your bag at the start of the game?
Yes.
Have you done the one with the lady where they're like telling her to pick up the Aggron, and it's like Aggron's like 400 kilograms?
So yeah, the person who steals your bag at the beginning of the game, she opens like a bag carrying service. Essentially, because you're like, my Pancham likes to steal bags. Let's help the people out, help tourists, And it's like, why won't you carry my Aggron, ma'am? The Aggron is like, I will get crushed in 2 seconds if I carry your Aggron. My Aggron only demands the greatest of service. And you just got like, PLZA lets you put a tourist in their place. Worth the $70 as far as I'm concerned. Surely.
Absolutely. I like the character around it. Some of it's outright ridiculous. Some of it's really nice, like the Frostlass one you mentioned. Mm-hmm. I think that one of the other things that comes to mind, I think, as you sort of said, is the idea of them working together. I quite like some of the... Almost a little bit like when you were talking about the like catching some of the Pokemon in the street and the context clues around them. It's stuff like, hey, this elevator isn't working. What are they? Is it Holovator or whatever it is that gets you onto the roof? Yeah, they're like, hey, this doesn't work. Can you use an electric type Pokemon to get it to work? And it's like those contextual stuff that's like, hey, I can kind of see how this would work in real life.
Yeah, it makes us. It's one of those small things that makes the city feel lived in. And another Holovator is like, and also like they block off the Holovators in order to stop you from getting to certain areas before you're supposed to. I think that's how they do it. But like they always have contextual reasons as to why that happens. So like again, there's one where like a bunch of Beldum are kind of like gravitated towards it because magnetism or some shit, right? So you got to kill a bunch of Beldum, and then there's one where like some Rush Syndicate guy just kind of hogs it. It's like, hey, this is my one. I like this one. This is mine. I was like, yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, wait, leave me alone. Speaking about them, there was a really fun side mission as well where two of them are fighting. My Arbok is better than your... I forgot what the other Pokemon was. There was like two Pokemon. Oh, Glady. My Arbok's better than your Glady. My Glady's better than your Arbok. Hey, what are you looking at, punk? We're going to fight you to figure it out. And then, obviously, in your head, you're going, why don't you guys just fight each other? But then at the very end of the side mission, you'll be like, why don't we just fight each other? And I just thought it was kind of funny. So, side missions, more of them were memorable in this game than they were in PLA, and I think that's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, and in terms of blocking stuff off, we've come a long way from Lumiose being blocked off due to a power outage, yet someone's still able to walk through.
We've come a long way, man. Oh, man, what a game, eh? X and Y, what a game. Oh, fantastic. So overall, the gameplay loop, I think it's fair to say, we both enjoy it. And if they were to keep this more focused, refined gameplay loop of, there's a bunch of stuff to do, but there's a focal point for you to focus on towards the end, whether you can challenge that immediately or later down the line, I think that's a good direction for Pokemon to take, be it if it was just the Legends game or mainline as far as I'm concerned. But let's move on to the battling, Luke, the big one. We've gone from turn-based to action RPG. It just copied Xenoblade, making it much faster paced. And I think that's one thing I really enjoy about this is that it completely rethinks the way you approach moves. Now, admittedly, at the start, I did feel kind of like, I'm just going to hit the move that's off cooldown. But as the game progressed, right, I think that's what I said in my first impressions, I just felt a bit bummed, actually. But as the game progressed, I felt like I was really thinking about what moves to use. Would you say you had the same experience?
I'd say so. You feel much more active rather than passive in what you're doing with your Pokemon. And I think as a result, I feel much more engaged with it. And as you say, some of the stuff around having to switch in and strategize stuff's really interesting. Like, I lost a couple of battles. I didn't go and train up my Pokemon or anything. I knew I made a mistake.
Yes.
Therefore, I had to change my strategy, and that was really, really fun. Because how often does that happen in the main game?
Never. It's never happened. It's so refreshing to have the game kick my ass, and I'm like, oh, it's my fault. Because, how often do you, die in a Pokemon game and you just reset your save? That didn't happen. Fuck that noise. That battle was ass. I don't want to go back to a Pokemon Center. Put me back in, coach. But I lost to Grisham, and I'm just like, damn, that fella crazy, bro. You kidding me? I think I lost to Jacinth once. I lost to Laban once, I think, as well. There was a handful of battles I lost where I'm just like, okay, this game's a game. What the fuck? How do they do that? They made it a game? It's not the point where, now here comes the big debate. I think because there's no denying it's fun. The absolute variety of moves on display, seeing old moves recontextualized is amazing. But here's the question, Luke: is it a one-time thing? Is it a Legends thing, or is this the new thing going forward?
My personal opinion, I feel quite strong on this, is that this should be a Legends thing. And
what makes you say that, Luke?
So I think that it shouldn't be one time because it is that much fun, and I think that if they want to stay up with some of the more modern standards in gaming when it comes to sort of battling and stuff, I definitely think it should be. They should carry on with the sort of faster paced battles, and it's very fun as well. Yeah. So I don't think it should just be a one time thing. I do wonder whether they'll still have to recontextualize it because it obviously fit the theme of the Battle Royale and things around that. So I'd be intrigued to see how they go about that. But yeah, my opinion is that it should probably just be a Legends thing. I don't think it should be main series because Pokemon's been built on the turn-based action. We stick with that, and Legends is where you just tinker with stuff and have a little bit of fun with it. There are still things that they can incorporate from Legends, like some of the catching mechanics and stuff like that, but yeah, I still think that the core of the game should still be turn-based.
For me, it's I don't know, Luke, man. Don't go. I 100% agree with you. If it was the Legend style going forward, I'm okay with that. But I'm not gonna lie. There's a devil on my shoulder, Luke. There's a devil on my shoulder that's like, wouldn't it be so good? It would be so awesome. It would be so cool. I'm just like, it would though, wouldn't it? It fucking would.
I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't be upset if they showed Gen 10 and they're like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing from now on. But also, I just kind of think this is what works with new games. Oh, sorry, with the old games.
Come on,
I wouldn't be upset.
Come on, you want this to be the future. Join us. Listen to the.
I have a devil on my shoulder, and it's you.
Delightfully devilish, Luke. Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, I think I'm in the same boat as you. If this was it, I 100% want this to be a Legends thing. If the next Legends game doesn't have this battling, I'll cry. I'll genuinely cry. This feels like an evolution of the agile, strong style thing they were doing. Just a natural evolution. That system almost seems archaic in comparison to this. And if they were to go main series with it, I would be interested. But if they weren't, I'd also be okay with that. Well, either way, battling, good, I think it's fair to say. Let's go on to the next one, though, Luke. Oh my god, this is the big one. This is the big one. I know I said the other one was the big one, but this is even the bigger one, all right?
They're all big ones.
They're all
Keep
big
watching.
ones. Keep watching. These are massive, all right? Just like
Need
Ninja.
retention.
Just like Ninja said, this shit was massive. Yes. Give me that. Give me the AVD. Give me that CTR. Give me all the numbers. The return of the beloved gimmick, Mega Evolution. No more of this terrestrialization bullshit. No more of this Z-move nonsense. No more of this dynamic chicanery. We're back to the tried and true thing that is good, but I also like Z-moves and terrestrialization too, so I wasn't celebrating like crazy. But either way, it was still exciting for old and new fans alike. And I think the best thing we can say is Lumiose places extra emphasis on this by having the game be much more focused around it. Easily the worst aspect of X and Y is just how few trainers use Mega Evolution. So having the whole game be centered around this, having there be more Megas than ever, like so much of the Pokedex can Mega Evolve. There's so many instances where Mega Evolving is... There's so many instances where Mega Evolution is needed to the point where you could even make the argument that maybe it's a bit too Mega Evolution focused. So overall, what do you think of the new Megas? Let's start with the new ones. Some of those new ones. Do you hate Mega Starmie, Luke?
I think I hated it at first, but
did you?
It's so goofy that I can't hate it. It's one of those ones where you look at it and you go, oh. Then you see it in action and it's like, actually, yeah, I fuck with this.
I think it was one of those ones as well. I was in genuine shock. I made a standalone video just on how much shock I was. It had me reeling for like a minute. I genuinely could not believe they just gave this fella legs. Whose idea was that? But I think it's fair to say overall, I just got a list in front of me right here. There's definitely way more good than bad. Like,
yeah.
I think when the people on the line, I think when people say this mega list is not as good as the old mega list, I would heartily disagree. Just having a look right now, there's far more hits than misses. I'd say the only ones I don't like actively don't like, is just Mega Pyro. That's the only one where I'm like, oh my god, bro, oh hell no, who invited? Get your way, that's the only one. That's the only one I'm thinking that. I'm not that big on Mega Chandelure as well. I don't know how you feel about that.
And I quite like Chandelure as well. It just probably feels quite underwhelming. Not that it's bad, because Chandelure in general is really good. But yeah, it's not one where I go, oh, I need to Mega Evolve it because it looks so good. It's just there.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel about Mega Chandelure, unfortunately. Other than that, honestly, those are the only two where I'm just actively like either bad or no. The rest of them I either like, love, or like they're the best thing ever made. How do you feel about them overall? Would you say?
I think they're good, and I think what's quite nice about revisiting stuff like old gimmicks like Megas is that I think that Game Freak tends to be better when it revisits something. I think they tend to have a better idea of what something is, therefore they can work with it. So I mean, like, just this game in general, how much better is this over X and Y? In my opinion, if you're an X and Y crybaby, put it in the comments. But in my opinion, this is miles better. The story's miles better. The theming and stuff is miles better because they've revisited it. I think that the story and the lore around Isui is amazing, and it's like this ability to revisit stuff. I think because it already exists, they're able to flesh it out better, and it's the same with these Megas. I think that in this instance, you've gone from I feel like Megas were meant to be like really cool, and it's like, oh, look at these guys. I think with this, they've sort of just accentuate the main features of every Pokemon. So it's like Starmie's got massive legs now. It's not cool. It's a bit dorky, but it's sort of it makes it cool in my mind because they've just accentuated its features. Skarmory, they've gone from going like, I don't think Skarmory looks cool. I think it looks really edgy, but it's accentuated its features, and it's the ability to do that I think makes these Megas really good in design.
I personally, talking about Skarmory though, I just love how it goes from silver to gold, gold and silver. Fucking references, Game Freak with their references, huh?
Was it not in Emerald? God, it was an Emerald. It was a Gen 3 Pokemon.
Yeah, I know, right? It was a Gen 3 Pokemon that they gave this gold and silver treatment to. I can't believe this. It just doesn't end with this game, does it? Too many references. But yeah, what would you say like your standouts right now? Like off the top of your head, if you give me top 3 Megas off the top of your head, who are you thinking?
New ones?
Yeah, the new ones,
yeah. Okay. Ooh.
Just real quick, who's coming to mind? Who's coming to mind?
I really want to like Mega for Alligator.
Oh, you don't like the skibbity toilet lid? Come on!
The toilet lid looks so bad in action, man. It looks terrible. In terms of the ones I do really like, Mega Scolopede's amazing. I love Mega
He looks
Scolopede.
cool, doesn't he? He's got that fucking armor plating, those fuck-ass giant horns. I love it.
Oh, who else is there? Mega Greninja is just cool, isn't it?
I think he's just aura farming. Like, Mega Greninja's like the Charizard of Mega Evolution, bro. Upside down giant spinning water shuriken, like, you're aura farming. I can't deal with you, man.
Like, I actually quite like Mega Scrafty. I think it looks so cool.
Really?
And, like, it's the idea that it's like, hey, this is a lizard that's shedding its skin. That's very cool.
It is a cool concept.
What about you?
I would say, like, right now, if it's top 3, mate, I would say number 3 goes to Mega Dragolgi. It looks like an absolute abomination. Like, at the moment I saw that, I was in love with it. I think number 2, easily, has to be Mega Drampa. Yeah, just look at it, bro. He's like the almighty dragon Shenron. It's so cool. I actually adore it. Do you know who my number 1 is? I'll be real with you. I think it has to be Frostlass.
Okay.
I think it just because, like, right now, if you're asking me, it could all shift. It went from 5'11" to 6 foot, and I'm just like, as a fellow 6 footer, you know, I kind of feel like it's relatable.
Honestly valid. I think it gave me poor expectations because I forget that with the Rogue Megas, they're so big. And then to see it like more normal height, I was like, oh, it looked really cool when it was massive. And now it's sort of like normal height. I'm sort of like, I kind of wish it was massive again because it looked really scary.
I get you. I think any one of those top 3 of mine I can kind of swap around. But yeah, all of them are just really good. Again, it's only those 2 I would say I probably don't like. And the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it.
I like the idea of the Pyro one. I do not like the execution of it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's the kanji for fire in Japanese. It's like, okay, that's cool, but it doesn't work. And unfortunately, Pyro is forever going to be stuck as a Pokemon that I probably won't like.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that fucking Zone 17, am I right? Fucking, honestly, literally, someone at Game Freak fucking hated Pyro. They gave him the most fuck-ass Mega, and then they gave him Zone 17, which if you know, you know. I think we already kind of touched upon should they've even brought this back, because as you said, I think Game Freak are very good at refining things when they bring them back. It's almost as if this is something they did for so long. When they made games, they made a more refined version. Oh my god. Crazy how that works, huh? Therein lies the question though, Luke. What does this mean for the other gimmicks? Are we going to see like Z moves come back?
I think it's awkward for Z moves in particular, and probably terrestrialization as well, because it's like you have to make it fit within the story, but also there's not much you can do with them other than make different move animations with different names. With this, with Megas and G-Max, you can do more because you're able to say, hey, we're going to make new designs for these Pokemon and we're going to give you a reason to want to get excited for it. I feel like if we said, hey, here's Z moves, people probably wouldn't be very excited. If we said, hey, here's G-Max and Megas, people are excited because there's something new. I wouldn't be against it. I actually quite like Z moves.
Same.
Because I think one thing that we'll probably get onto is it's a lot less restrictive with what types of teams you're likely to go for and likely to want to go for. Yeah, I don't know. I'm never closed to the idea of other gimmicks coming back, especially if it's Z moves, because you know me, I'm an Alola truther.
Oh man, yeah. Let's quickly shift from after this.
Where are my Gen 7 gang?
Listen,
7 gang.
You say that as if that's not the popular take. I'm the minority. Typical, right?
No, I know, but like I was here since day one. Just because some of you couldn't read.
Listen, everyone loves it. The hood loves Gen 7 now, okay? We just much to my detriment, okay? Because I think those games aren't as good as most people do. And I'm gonna constantly bring it up to ruin your fun. But I think here comes the most interesting conversation when it comes to the Megas, right? Well, what was that? What was that laugh, Luke? Why'd you laugh at me?
Oh, I was laughing because you're wrong about Gen 7. But
fuck you. How about you? Is it over reliant? Hang on. Fuck you. You flustered me. I can't read my notes.
Sorry.
No, I'm flustered, Luke. Fuck you. Lily's bad. I need to do 3 Lily's bads in the mirror just to calm back down again. But would you say that because I think it's fair to say they did Megas right, but would you say that maybe they rely on it a bit too much? Because I know from my playthrough, if a Pokemon didn't have a Mega, I kind of felt like it always felt I didn't want to use it. Like my Meowstic, for example. I love my Meowstic, right? Named after my cat, Pretty. But like I felt like my Meowstic got like really outpaced towards like the last third of the game, you know. And even though you had plus moves to kind of bridge that gap, it just felt like I was so underpowered. Do you think maybe the game relied on it maybe a little too much? Maybe
possibly. I think I found that I had to have at least 4 or 5 megas in my
Yeah,
team.
same here.
And the issue is that narrows the pool down. Now, I suppose the argument you could have is it's your team. You made the sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, it's your team. Just, have to deal with it.
But again,
So,
one of the best things about Pokemon is that like, you can basically pick anything and you're kind of good. Like, even the weak, early evolving bugs in like earlier gens, you can still kind of make them work late game in earlier Pokemon games if you're really dedicated to them. But it felt like if it didn't have a Mega, it was kind of like hard to justify a team slot, especially with how hard the battles got later in the game, right?
Maybe you could get away with the trainer battles, definitely not with the rogue megas, because they obviously take more damage from a mega evolution. It's really awkward, and I think my one criticism of megas has always been it's so restrictive on what ones you can use, especially for a meta game. You probably want to go for a team that's going to be fun, but easy enough to beat the game.
Yeah.
And the problem that you have from that is that you're then more likely to go towards the megas. Again, it's still a case of you made the sandwich, you control the buttons you press, some other internet reference. But it's a case of like, if you want to, you could build a team. It just feels like the game pushes you in a direction towards megas, but I think that's always going to be the case. It's a bit like what we were saying about Lumiose. It's like there's pluses and negatives that come from that decision. And it's just that this decision pushes you in one direction.
But I feel like the decisions around like Pokemon themselves are a lot harder to stomach. Because, again, one of Pokemon's greatest assets is that you can kind of just build... You can make there's a story in the story. You choose the 6 or even plus, because one of the best things about modern Pokemon is you can rotate out team members so quickly. You could choose, like, your squad to, like, write your story with. Like, anybody who's watched my SV playthrough, right, which the playlist is on the channel, by the way, shameless promotion, knows that, like, Lukey is now a hero. Like, I named my Lukey Grug. The legend of Grug cannot go understated, honestly. The amount of battles he came in clutch on that playthrough, generational Pokemon. And if we're talking like PLZA, I love my Jawsum, the Feraligatr, but my Sheila, the Ampharos, like she also came in clutch so often, honestly. So it's like, there's like a story within the story of the Pokemon you have. So when it feels like you can't pick anything you want, it just doesn't feel like good. It's like if you're like, yeah, my brother in Christ, you made the sandwich. But it's like if I went to the Subway guy and said, like, can I get a meatball marinara? And like he looked at me funny, like he made me the sandwich, but like now I don't feel like good because now I'm just wondering, why did he look at me like that? Why did he sneer at me? Like there was no are you having a bad day at work? Was it my choice of like I told you to make the sandwich. I didn't tell you to judge me. That's how I felt like when I was using a Meow stick instead of like something that could Mega Evolve.
Yeah, I guess I have one question, which actually could have been a decision that they made, which may have curbed that. Do you think that restricting it to one Mega Evolution per battle, like in X and Y, would have curbed that? Maybe you would have been more likely to be like, okay, well, I can only Mega once, therefore I'll only use I'll only have 3 Megas in my team rather than 5 or 6. Do you think that could have changed it?
I think that would have helped, honestly.
That's what I was thinking. The fact that you're able to Mega every single one, essentially, is part of the problem, probably. Because it's like, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Being able to plus moves on a whim without like any sort of like punishment, even moves you haven't mastered technically yet, that's such a boon to your Pokemon. That's like, oh, hey, Meowstick, do you want to use like Light Screen and then switch out to an actual Pokemon? It just feels like, oh, that kind of sucks. But overall, I would say if they do bring this sort of thing back, I definitely want them to kind of like maybe curb it a tiny bit. I do think that was maybe a bit too, just a little bit. I think in terms of the story, it worked perfectly. But in terms of like team building, I feel like when I make a second playthrough, I kind of have to account for one or more Mega than I probably wouldn't have because, the game just kind of geared around them. But either way, I still thought it was enjoyable. It didn't like tamper my experience, but I still felt like it was noteworthy to bring up,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I agree with that, Luke. Wow, we're agreeing with each other too much. What the fuck? It's boring.
Yeah, what the hell? It's because we're paid shills by Nintendo.
Fuck it. Don't tell him, man! Oh my god! A gun just peered off of me off screen. Like, okay, let's move on to the story and the characters. Easily. Oh, I'm excited to talk about this one, Luke. I'm very excited to talk about this one. PLZA places a lot of emphasis on the story, just like modern Pokemon games tend to. And while I'm X and Y's biggest hater, trust me, if there are no X and Y haters, I am dead. It was mostly, when I played it on a second time through, I realized it was mostly the gameplay. The Pokedex, solid. The region, fun. The city's really well designed. It was the gameplay that was fucking ass. Even without the XP share, it was just a tad too easy. I get you want to make the Elite Four have 4 Pokemon, but you really want to commit to the theming that bad? It just made the game suffer. It's fair to say it didn't have time to flesh out a lot of the parts it was supposed to, aka it became a potential man. Zero good get battles, 0 interesting gym leader, 7 babies,
Rivals.
7 rivals, hey! 7 rivals, literally potential man. So how does this story 5 years after X and Y Fair? So what are your overall thoughts, Luke? Let's get a bit of a general take before you hone in. What do you think?
My general thoughts is that of the last 5 mainline games that we've got in Pokemon, 4 of them have absolutely slapped. Now, you won't agree because Gen 7 comes within that mix. But, like, at the very least, you could argue that 9, Arceus, and now ZA absolutely slap.
Yeah.
All of them have had brilliant stories. There are some bits where it falls ever so slightly, but this... I'm not an X and Y fan at all, but this is brilliant, and this actually made me have a lot more appreciation for X and Y's story.
Yeah,
even
definitely.
If I don't think that it necessarily sticks the landing.
Yeah, because it's by playing that we got to enjoy this all the much more, you know. So so even if we don't like it that much, which believe me, I don't, I have to give it at least a flower. You know, maybe not a full bouquet, but like couple. You know, I have to definitely give it a couple of hours.
A little floette flower.
Yeah, maybe an AZ floette flower, definitely like a bouquet of black flowers, I would say. So overall, again, let's staying in the generalities, Luke. Let's get hot in here. All right, is it better than Black and White story?
Ooh, this is horrible, right? Because I like to do the thing where I'm very much on the fence, and I'm like, I'll give this one its point. This one's it. But I know you're not going to let me.
I'm not going to let the first. Okay. Let's ease you into it. Better than SVs, story/characters. The story/characters of PLZA, are they better than SVs?
I'm going to say yes.
You see, this is the part where I become offensive, because if I'm X and Y's biggest hater, I'm SV's biggest defender. And I would say, overall, PLZA wins out. I will say the end game of SV I prefer more than the end game of PLZA, though. Better than SV story. Is it better than Black and White, though?
I'm going to say no, but I think that's because Black and White, you had Black and White and then Black and White 2. Let's say that this is essentially Black and White 2. This is very, very good, but the first one is on its ass, so I'm going to say no.
Ooh, Luke. That's like, you're just being one of those Gen 5ers. That's what you're doing, man. You just wanted to make your game is not that good, all right?
No, like, not even, because I understand where it falls down. I'm not Gen 1 is a like, old man yells at clouds, and it's like, oh, the original 151. It's like, okay, back to bed, Grandad, back to bed. It's not... I'm not like that with Black and White. I understand where it falls. So just defending myself, you bastards.
Hey, you're a Gen 5er, Luke! Deal with it! Deal with it! Take your hands! Oh, man. But, like, for me, that's a really tough call when I think about it. I would say, personally, I prefer the story and characters of PLZA a little bit more. Just, it's close. It's pipped at the post. A lot of the things it kind of alludes to, it kind of sticks the landing on. That's the thing. Because one thing I really love about Black and White is that it alludes to all of these topics that I think are interesting, but it never explores them as much as you'd like, though. And while I don't hate that about Black and White, it is one of those things that kind of leaves... Because I think it leaves it to your imagination, right? What if people in Pokemon don't like working together? Like, what the fuck? Like, and then obviously the twist at the end comes that he's been manipulated this whole time, right? But, like, hearing him talk about these ideals in such a black and white way, and people talk about it, just kind of, like, it is at least intriguing somewhat. And I've always enjoyed, like, the themes of X and Y. I got X and Y on the bed. I'm too busy. I drank too much hater juice.
Don't enjoy anything about X and Y.
It just doesn't end with this guy. He just keeps hating. So, like, the themes of Black and White, like, what it alludes to is great. But I do think it's kind of... It plays a bit too coy with it without kind of honing in on as much as I would like. You know, just a little bit, I would say, upon, like, replaying the game for the story. But with PLZ, I feel like it... Even though I would say the themes overall aren't as interesting as Black and White, I feel like it sticks to landing way harder. Like, for example, AZ dies.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. We're already in spoiler territory, okay? But yeah, AZ's dead. I think they do not pull that off in Black and White. And I think that's the reason I like PLZA a bit more, is that it kind of goes, it doesn't just like tease around any concepts or talks about any concepts. It kind of like goes through with it. It's heavily implied, I would say, not heavily, but it is implied that AZ's probably going to die, you know? Like, he doesn't go with you to the end game. He's like, Naveen is like, oh, we'll make you can make us some dinner. But like, oh, that sounds great. I'm like, he's probably not going to come back, is he? But then, like, I didn't think they'd actually go through with it, but they did. you know. And then there's obviously the other thing that I really love about it. The other thing I really, really love is L, or Lysander, should we say. When you challenge Zygarde and finally beat Zygarde, and ends up like essentially like disappearing from Lumiose forever, he's given like a very clear ending. That's one thing. It's one thing I fucking hate about old Pokemon is that it doesn't really ever feel that definitive, you know? Like, I think N got a really definitive ending, right? Like, N, like, he realizes he's been manipulated, gets arrested, he flies off into the sunset, GG, right? But then Black and White 2 comes out and he comes back and it's like, where the fuck's Hilbert? Apparently he was looking for you or something? The fuck is he, bro? You know? It's like,
although you say that like there aren't characters missing in this game. What about your main character from X and Y?
I don't feel like he needed to be here. Am I wrong in saying that? I feel like Hilbert should have been in Black 2, White 2 more than Serena or Kalen being here. Why do they need to be in Kalos? They're probably gone on another venture.
Possibly, but Lumiose is in trouble when it's like, you know, they are the. We assume that they're still the champion, and I'm just saying that like there are other weird exclusions from this where it leaves it up to interpretation, and it's like, you know, I don't think it's totally free from sin in that way.
I just like how finite it does with everything. Again, AZ dies. L kind of gets like a nice bookend to his story. When you do 15 battles of Quasargo in the Infinite Battle Royale, you find out that the CEO is actually related to Tawny/Urbane. That's their grandson/granddaughter. I'm just referred to as Tawny, okay? Tawny was my one. You find out as a granddaughter, right? And the mum was the person who developed the holozones, and like she's gone and she's not here. So she ends up leaving Team MZ to join Quasargo, and that's how you get AZ's Floette. Because obviously AZ's Floette was Tawny's, right? They committed to AZ dying. They committed to L essentially like passing on the torch. They committed to you getting AZ's Floette by a way that made sense other than, hey, you're the main character, you know?
I think what I will say is it feels really tidy in how it tries to tidy up some of the lore a little bit. Like, as you say, there's some nice bookends to stuff with some of the stories. I quite like some of the stuff about Zygarde, because it's quite clear that Zygarde was meant to be in some sort of third game that never happened. And then he gets shoved into Gen 7, and we don't know what's going on with him. It's very odd. And yet they managed to find a way to explain why he was in Alola. You know, his big mega move is essentially like a Z move. It's like Necrozma's Z move. And how he takes some of the powers from that. And it feels like quite a nice, I'm not going to say ending, but it feels like a nice bit where they've tidied up a little bit of Zygarde lore. Maybe it should have been in another game anyway, but it's quite nice that they've been able to do that. And what it does feel like is it feels like this game has been able to package up some of the stuff that really frustrates me about X and Y, and about the fact that we didn't get anything afterwards to tidy up some of that stuff.
I think
it feels a lot more complete.
I think that's probably why I like this one more than Black and White. I think now that you're saying it, I think that's what makes sense to me. Is I feel like there's a lot of bookends to this game that X and Y kind of opened but never closed, you know, and that combined with the fact that I think here's the other thing. Look, I'm going to say this. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. So the friends in X and Y were ass. Right? I think we can all agree with that. I think Cheren and Bianca were good, but I wouldn't say they were standouts, right? How is how? Hop, Hop was good as well. I like Hop. But this is the first time I can say the friends that you get, I actually fucking love them.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that takes this one a bit above Black and White for me, is that like I love almost every character I bumped into in this game. I don't think I can say the same for Black and White.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think this group feels really, really strong. They have time to flesh them out as characters rather than what's the word they use? Have you ever heard of Flanderization? I think it's called.
Yes, where it's like all the characters feel like one note and that's kind of it. Whereas
essentially, but that's what happened with X and Y before they even had characters. They were like, oh yeah, this is the dancing guy, and this is the nerd, and you know, this is the woman that's on the team, and then his your rival that would change depending on your gender. So they felt like they were really Flanderized before they even had characters to flesh out, which is really frustrating. And yet with these guys, they took their time. And I think that's the one thing that this game really does well pacing-wise. They take their time to establish stuff, to establish characters. So, like, Naveen's got his own stuff where it's to do with, like, sewing and making clothes and stuff. But he's also got this interest in Canary, the streamer, and it adds a little bit of sort of characterization there. Even the little stuff about the cross on curry, which is an absolute abomination. Like, just the little quips at that progresses each time. It's just something so minor, but it builds such a nice character around them.
Yes, and I think that's just something that is done perfect, or almost perfectly in this game. Now, you could argue that maybe their characters aren't explored as well as you'd like, but I don't know. For me, I was kind of okay with that, because I think some of the criticisms are online, which I think made sense, where Leader and Naveen aren't really like given any sort of like bookends the same way like Tawny/Urbane were, and for me, it's like I felt like they were more of a supporting cast. Like, even though we were a team, I'm not expecting them to get like. I think it's mainly because of the episodic style of this game. Right?
Yeah.
It felt like we're characters in an episode. Oh, today's the Corbo episode, or today's the Ivor episode. So I feel like I was progressively learning about these characters more, but I don't really feel like they had like an arc that I was invested in. It was more so they were just friends of mine that were fun. In the same way that, Luke, I don't know everything about you. You know what I mean? You're just a character in the game of Musty, you know what I mean? But like, it's one of those things, but that's kind of, they just felt like a friend, you know? Whereas like Tawny/Urbane felt like the one where like, okay, this is the one you're fleshing out, this is the one we're going with, this is the consistent like leader of the group, so they need to have a good story arc, you know? Whereas the others, I was kind of just okay with seeing them for a bit, meeting them as, are you shit or are you not? Which is fair to say they weren't. And I kind of enjoyed them because of that. They were just like nice.
And I think the main thing is that Naveen and Leader quite clearly don't have any interest in the Royale, which makes it difficult to progress them in that way. So you have to progress them in other ways. And when I think about Tawny and Urbane's story, it's a lot about, okay, they are going through the Royale, but they're doing it because of the person, and that is where their bookend comes. I don't know what a bookend for Leader and Naveen would look like. Would it be Naveen working for Canary and Leader being a dancer? I don't know. I have no idea what that would look like. Maybe the DLC will explore some of that. But I don't feel like they needed a bookend. There wasn't anything in my mind that goes, this is why they're doing it, and this is where it's going to stop. There wasn't a clear progression in my mind. They were just, as you said, really nice supporting characters who are your friends. They don't have to have a arc that starts and ends somewhere. They just have to be characters that you like. I think it's nice to have one that has an arc that starts and finishes somewhere.
To pivot into that somewhat, I think the episodic nature kind of made the character stand out a bit more. How do you feel about that? So when I say episodic, just to clarify for the audience, it felt like every kind of rank was kind of its own self-contained thing. Obviously, it was building up to the finale, which is obviously Lumiose Tower's in trouble. They're about to hit the tower. Oh my god! But throughout the story, it was just kind of like, oh, this is Ivor, and Ivor, you're going to battle Ivor. But in order to battle Ivor, you got to find his phone. Where's his phone? His sister has it, and his sister's gone missing. Time to call Emma. Detective Emma's on the case. And we kind of just did all of that, and then we put a bookend on that, and it's like, Corbo. I'm in debt with Corbo. What the fuck? Loan shark activities? We need to go to the Rust Syndicate and sort this mess out. So like, it felt like it was very like episodic, like I was in a TV show. And I'm going to be honest, I really fucking love this format.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of format they tried to go for with Scarlet and Violet. But as we said before, they've sort of refined it quite perfectly. It gives all of these characters their own spotlight. But then when they come back later, they are also fully fleshed characters. So when you see them in the background of the Jacinthe Royale, for example, you're like, oh, it's the guy. It's the guy that we saw before.
Yes. I remember when I went to that Jacinthe Royale, I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be... I literally felt like, oh my god, this is going to be a tournament. Oh my god, this is all the fellas. Oh, my fellas. Let's go, you know?
Yeah, and it works, and I think it gives good focus to these characters. And then I think what's quite nice is because the whole idea of the story is meant to be this is a living, breathing city as much as anything else. The idea that you see all those different walks of life is amazing. You know, you have people that sit there and go, well, I don't want there to be taxis or any other form other than taxis. You know, the Z Eternal.
Fucking the Tart Z, as I call him. Fucking Le Z Eternal.
The Z Eternal, one of the funniest jokes. Have you battled him at the end, by the way?
Yes. And he still sucks. That was so funny, man. I'm sorry. And then,
it's hilarious.
And then sometimes when you're just walking past the Lumi cab, sometimes it's him. They're like, oh, what's up, Lazzie? What's up, Lazzie? Which I think before we get into like what we think of the characters, can we just talk about how fucking funny this game is? Why is this game like? In all fairness, I feel like Pokemon has always kind of had this source a little bit. When I replayed SV, I noticed because like one of the things about SV that was just kind of weird is you don't have to battle any of the trainers. It's not like the whole you meet trainers, I meet, let's battle. They like kind of got rid of it. I don't know if they did the same thing for Gen 8, but I know for Gen 9, yeah, it was just, you had to talk to them. Like, they had these, like, special flavor text that indicate, oh, they're about, and then you talk to them, battle starts, blah, blah, blah. Some of them were, like, really funny. Like, I remember there was this one, I don't remember, I wish I could find a clip, but I could swear there was this one guy who was like, help, help, and then you talk to him like, haha, I tricked you, let's have a battle. Like, what was that? What do you mean? I just felt like I got epic trolled. So I felt like they kind of like teased this sort of thing with SV, and they kind of went gung-ho with it in PLZA, which if you're asking me, Pokemon dialogue has never been something that, like, you're never getting out of bed for NPC dialogue, right? So if you're going to take it in this direction where you just make it kind of fucking funny, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, it's just about, like, grabbing attention, because otherwise you're going to... Well, Pokemon fans don't read. So it's like, if you're going to see it, you might as well see it and just be like, oh, what the hell was he on about? And then it gets your attention, and then you're more likely to read some of the other stuff. And it's all quite amusing, really. There are some other funny bits that I kind of want to go over when we go over characters, because I think they're much more character-related. But it's such a funny game. Like for no reason as well.
It didn't even need to be. It walked past an NPC saying the most fucked up shit. And it just reminds me of GTA. Like, you walk past an NPC in GTA, like, you sold my dog for crack? And it's like, you're like, what the fuck is going on there? That's the same thing that PLZA has. The eyes, go for the eyes. That's the last thing my brother said to me. It's like, what? What are you going through, dude? So let's get into the characters that stand out. It's the good, the bad, the ugly. Who would you say right now? Like, if you had to, off the top of your head, when someone asks you, Luke, someone's going to ask you, how are the characters? And like, oh, the characters were good. Who's like this is the character that I like, you know? Here's the standout.
Jacinth is a real standout, because that is the funniest arc. I didn't think that there could be one funnier than Ivor, because I absolutely love Ivor as well. But Jacinth, the whole arc is so funny. For no reason. It's not just that characters have to be funny. Like, that's not me just saying, oh, I have to. But I really enjoyed it, because I'm just like, I want to see more. I want to see where it's going.
Yes.
Like her just turning up at your meetings and everyone acting like it's normal, and then suddenly being like, oh wait, hang on, there's someone at the table.
Literally. So we're gonna get these rogue megas. The rogue megas are good, but should we battle with Jacinth? I don't know, man. I think we should do the rogue megas. The rogue megas can wait. What are the Jacinth? Does this table feel crowded to any of you? What the fuck? And then there she is.
Very, very funny character. As you say, we were talking about the bit of the table, but like, it's just ridiculous. Like, all of it is ridiculous, but it's in such a way that something like Pokemon should really tap into that. Like, there's a seriousness to some stuff, but there should also just be fun around it. I still think one of my favourite bits is the bit with the bracket. And it's ridiculous to begin with, because she's the only one to go to the final, and then the other half of the bracket's everyone against each other, right? But then when Zygarde comes in and she's like, Laban, change it please, and then they change it, and Zygarde's like on the side, just on the side, and it looks nothing like. I was dying laughing because I just didn't expect that. I love it.
It was very funny. It was such a small moment of comedy, which I feel like this game just does so well. I think it blends. I think, as you said, I think you just hit the nail on the head perfectly, so I don't have much to add. I think Pokemon is at its best when it blends those two, like humor and like earnest moments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how niche this will be. It's not a niche show, but you know, the crossover between the two. But if anybody's watched Doctor Who, they know that it's the sort of thing that can do ridiculous stuff because it's built up to be fantastical, but at the same time it tackles some really serious, and it does take itself serious at times, and that's how Pokemon should be. I think it doesn't have to take itself seriously all the time. It can have fun with it because it's so outrageous, because it's not real, but also you need to make some of the stories real. You need to make some of it serious, and that's where it blends it so well. It's managed to blend these ridiculous characters at the same time as having a character actually die at the end of the game, and that is perfect, because that's what life is, and that's the whole idea of X and Y and Legend ZA is like, it's every shade of life.
Eternal life and death, the one that gives life and the one that takes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You've managed to link it all together. Oh my god, is this Game Freak? Can you hire this writer?
Yeah, hire this man.
I did write down here, does the SV model work for you? But I feel like, if I'm being honest, I feel like the next Pokemon game should take the best of both SV and PLZA, in that The exploration factor, obviously, in this game is sorely lacking because it's one city, right? But how would you prefer the exploration of like SV, like the wide open, like you get to explore a whole region, with the focus of PLZ in that there's one focal point and you can choose if you want to go there right away, you can focus on other things. I think that'd be perfect, right? I think we just described like a really good Pokemon game in terms of gameplay loop, right?
Yeah, it's like asking me if I want 2 cakes. It's like, yeah, I'll have both cakes. But like the issue is like whether they can execute it, and that's why part of me goes, I don't know, but like, yeah, that's more me being realist.
I feel like they could pull off. I feel like they could pull off like the SV style, where it's like big open world exploration, yeah, but like have it be a bit more focused than, oh hey, you can fight the 8th fucking Titan if you want now, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
Sure, I guess.
maybe they can. I think my worry is that, as I said before, they are going to be so much better at retreading ground. So if they do it over black and white remakes, for example, or not remakes but Legends maybe, then I think they're going to be so much better for it because it's already established, it's already there, therefore you can do more with it. Can they be that focused on one where they need to set up the story, the region, everything around it, plus all of the side quests, all of everything else, essentially?
I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy to ask. Like, even if you just take SV, for example, but you do a thing where, for example, like, here's what I'm thinking when I say this, right? Let's say that you did the Team Star Titan Gym Challenge, right? At any point, for example, let's say instead of opening every fucking spot up to you immediately, you had, I don't know who the first Titan was.
Cloth,
I know the first. Was that?
Was it Cloth?
I think it was Cloth. Let's just say it was Cloth for this example, right? Yeah. Let's say you have Cloth, Giacomo, which is the first Team Star, and Katie, right? All 3 of those, you could tackle those 3 in any order, and like they'll scale those 3 appropriately for you. Then once you've done those 3, then it unlocks like the next set, and then obviously to advance the story a bit faster, it does like maybe 2 at a time or something. Like you kind of like narrow the scope a bit, so it's not just, hey, we can fight Grusher, and then you could fight the fucking Bombardier, and then you can go, you know what I mean? I feel like narrowing the focus just a little bit, or just a tiny bit, can help players make the right decision and like have a good level curve experience. Because the amount of people I've seen where they're like, oh, I just found Grusher immediately and battled them, and then I died, and I'm just like, well, it's just kind of like, I feel like it's most fun when you like go in the order, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think you're wrong there at all. It's a mixture between being open to decisions but also still giving you more focus. You were saying you can take them on in any order, but it's only these 3.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's narrowing the scope but still having the,
freedom,
ability to pick what you want. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like you can make a nice combination of both. Because it was just kind of ass how, like, again, I needed to, what's the intent? First it's Katie, and then it's fucking, and then I have to go to Brass, and then I have to do this, and then I just hated that I had to look at a list. It wasn't just like there for me, if I wanted to play in the way that they intended. Because obviously they intended an order, which is why the game scales appropriately. If they wanted to tackle anything I wanted, then they would have made it scale, but they didn't. So, yeah. I feel like having some mix of both would be perfect, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, with any Pokemon game in the modern day, with PLA, SV, or PLZA, it all comes down to one final set piece. They seem to do that quite a bit now that I'm thinking about it. So, how did this ending set piece fare to you? So, obviously, when we're talking about the ending set piece, I'm referring to the bit where Lumiose Tower's under trouble, and you're both rank A, you and Tawny, and that's essentially from that point to the very end. That's what I'm talking about when I say the end game.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the end game overall?
So Pokemon's had this habit, it feels like, of trying to make their set pieces a lot more grandiose. I guess it's like it's the big culmination, and that's what it should be, in my opinion. How many times have we had it where you basically beat most of the game by the 7th or 8th gym badge? It feels like they've pivoted a lot more towards the final thing you do is the final thing you do. It's the culmination of the story. So it does feel like they've done that. It feels like they've also made it a little bit more like anime-esque, where it's like one big final thing, and it's like, the power of friendship. And I don't hate it because it's storytelling. It's not asking you to be strategic with your Pokemon battles. This is them saying, we're taking you on this story, and you're going to follow it. And it doesn't matter if we're forcing you to press Core and Force so it changes into Nihilite. It's like, that is what you have to do because that's the game. And I like ones that do it like that. Maybe it's, it leans much more into the JRPG thing. I mean, we've seen it with Persona, where you where you have to do that at the end, and it works as long as the story that comes before it builds up properly and you're invested enough. So I quite like it, and I can't tell you how cool it was when Zygarde does the Z thing.
Oh my god, come on now.
So good.
I think it's fair to say it's hype moments and aura, but it's earned hype moments and aura, right?
Yeah.
100%. I don't think anyone could. If there was a Pokemon that needed a redemption arc, it was fucking Zygarde. I think it's fair to say that moment where you Mega Evolve it and it uses Nihil Light, which is an amazing name for a move, by the way. I fucking love that name. And then like either a big fireworks show above Lumiose, you're like, oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah, man. And although I will say, as much as the hype moments in Aura are amazing, I would say, somewhat from a storytelling perspective and somewhat from a gameplay perspective, I did feel like it was a little bit lacking. There's a reason why, like, I think I prefer the Area Zero Endgame more than I prefer the Rank A Endgame, as I'll call it for the sake of this video. And that's because I feel like the final battle. Firstly, with the final battle with Tawny/Urbane, you're coming right off of Grisham.
Yeah.
Who I would say is easily one of the hardest non-champion fights in the series. Is that fair to say? Like, the guy has, like, how many Pseudo Legends?
Yeah, it's
and then
it's
a Mega Charizard X?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, that it was to the point where even my whole live chat was like, yeah, Muster, you're going to lose this one. Like, they just all knew. Like, because in Pokemon, you don't lose, right? You're not supposed to lose, right? Yeah. Baby game, you're not supposed to lose. Everyone's like, Muster, you're going to lose this. And then guess what? I lost it. And then when I came back a second time, but for me using a max revive to essentially have 7 Pokemon against his 6, I would have lost again. So it's fair to say that Grisham fight was really fucking tense, and I really enjoyed that. So coming off of that to a Tawny fight, that kind of was just like not as good. Firstly, just didn't really feel good as a finale battle. We're supposed to be like the 2 best trainers in the region, basically.
Yeah.
And I feel like that battle didn't have nearly the same like level of craziness as the Grisham fight did. Which again, if you're supposed to be the 2 best trainers in the region, I'm kind of expecting that to be. So I was a bit let down on that front. And it also kind of sucked in that, well, you're obviously battling me to see who is the most interesting of Floette's Mega Evolution, right? So if I win, that's obviously supposed to be me. Now, I'm okay with the idea of the game taking the story away from me. Because obviously, I am okay with Pokemon going, you're not the main character. Didn't really like it when they did that in Sun and Moon with Lily. Because I just felt like she just wasn't as interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with the game going, you're not the main character. It's Tawny/Urbane. They were always destined to be the one with Floette. But why give me this fucking gambit of whoever wins gets Floette? If I win and you were still going to get Floette anyway?
Yeah, that does kind of suck. I think the only good thing about the Tawny Urbane fight is that it kind of doesn't matter whether you win or lose. But that's also the bad thing if you win. If you lose, it carries on. It doesn't make you redo it. But like there is there could have been a better way of doing it in terms of like, let's just say AZ got in contact and says, no, it has to be Tawny/Urbane.
No, but if anything, for me, I would have done. I think that would, even if that happened, in fairness, I'd still be upset too. What I think should have happened is like they should have like had 2 versions of the animated cutscene with Tawny Urbane. One where it happens as normal, right? Yeah. Obviously, if Urbane Tawny wins, they get Floette, they go up, Hootie Ha happens, right? Normal. I think you should have a second one where it was about to be you. But like Tawny had in this like one final moment of like emotional outburst goes, "Please, Musty, I need this. My mama kind of homeless." But no, like they have this one final moment of, listen, like I need this. Like I came to, and that's when you find out like the big secret essentially, which is that's when she finally gives you that one final moment. Because I feel like she's implied it throughout the story. She's even indirectly told you. But this is the moment where she goes, "I came to Lumiose City to look for my mum. And me maybe getting on top of Lumiose Tower can maybe give me the blah, blah, blah. She could have made something up essentially. I'm not saying I'm not a writer. I don't know how I'd write this, but maybe she could have given you this like big final emotional spiel where you could have been like, okay, do you know what? Fair, because that would feel a bit more earned than you win, but she gets it anyway. It just needed to feel like it made sense. For a game that I've praised with making things make sense, i.e. you getting AZ's Floette, L having his like swan song essentially, AZ's death, for the game really doing a lot of things that make sense, having your like end game leading to finale set piece bit just not make sense, just kind of left me going, what the fuck was the point of that then, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna get it, just get it. Like, don't fucking at me about it, you know? Don't battle me for it. Just take it.
It feels like a waste of time because you're going, right, the city's in danger and we've just spent 10 minutes fighting Pokemon.
Yeah, there's like an urgency. There was a sense of urgency. Like, Vinny's like, we gotta get someone quick. I gave him like a Mike Tyson voice in my playthrough. We gotta get someone quick. We gotta find out who's gonna get Floette. And then like, oh, we're gonna have this battle. But then, like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Just do the thing, bro. I have Zygarde, you have Floette. You know, we both had our destinies. Why are we battling each other? It was a pointless battle. So I just hated how like it first set itself up. And I'd say the other thing that I didn't like was the battle itself felt like it was missing a phase. Because like obviously you destroy these flowers these like flowers that are doing attacks and what have you.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was kind of missing like a second or even a third phase. So obviously in between flower attacking, you got control Zygarde, and Zygarde was a big ass move. That's cool. I like that. But when I got back down to the ground, I was expecting like there to be like 3 flowers or 4 flowers or maybe even a flower maze that I had to traverse. But like, no, it was just you hit the 2 flowers, but instead they have more moves again.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So while it definitely succeeded in the hype moments and aura, and I think it's definitely memorable for that, definitely one of the weaker writing moments, and I think the gameplay definitely left a lot to be desired. Especially when we compare it to the others, like Area Zero and Volo. You know what I mean? Like, those are the 2 I'm comparing it to, by the way. Yeah, it definitely was lacking, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it was hype aura moments, but it didn't really have the difficulty, I'd say, that I would have expected from it.
Definitely not. And I think that's where it lets itself down there. But I would say overall it was definitely a good. Like, I don't think it overall affected my enjoyment too bad, because I think the redemption arc of Zygarde was so good that I'm just kind of happy for him. I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of happy the whole hood is talking about Zygarde. Honestly,
he's
I've
gone
never been
from
more
like
happy.
a character that I've never really cared about to I really like this Pokemon and its story and the idea of it being the protector across the globe, and it like the cells going off and doing stuff and it taking the power back. Because as I said, Lysander sort of suggests that sorry, that's his dead name. L suggests that, can't call him that anymore. L suggests that it was a little bit like a Z move because Zygarde's able to sort of absorb these powers essentially through having the cells across the globe. I'm like, that makes it one of the best Pokemon out there. It's gone from being like one where I'm like, oh, okay, but it's like this thing can protect everywhere and it can get whatever gimmick that you wanted to chuck on it. And that's so cool to me. I absolutely love it.
It is really, really cool. Fucking Zygarde, man. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's like one of my top 10 Pokemon when I think about it. It's so, bro, it just Mega Evolving getting a giant fuck ass cannon. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's very
That's
cool.
just, it's so cool, and I really enjoyed it for that. So overall, again, I don't think it's better than the Area Zero Endgame, but definitely a worthy Endgame in its own right. And I kind of just like this style, you know? I kind of like everything leading up to one final Endgame. I think if this is the Pokemon formula going forever, I'd kind of be happy with it.
Yeah.
It just feels more. I'm not gonna lie. Going back to Elite Four and Champion just feels so fucking underwhelming now. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like really satisfying on a gameplay perspective. Don't get me wrong. But like, you're just some fuck ass person in a room now. I can't do that anymore, Luke. I want a Volo fight. I want Area Zero. I want Zygarde hype moments and aura now.
But like, that's come from the fact that the story normally culminates before it, which is what I was saying before. The only one where I think it really does work is in Black and White, where the story is so heavily tied into the league itself when End crashes in, and it's like that works because you're doing both. You are essentially doing both, and that's like from here on out. I want the champion fight and everything to be done before we deal with the rest of the story, in my opinion, because then we're the strongest person to deal with whatever's happening.
Exactly. Like, narratively, it just makes it... Gameplay-wise, it's better because you still get your standard Elite Four champion or whatever malarkey. Yeah. But story-wise, like, again, it makes more sense. Of course you're going to be the one that solves the problem. You're now one of the strongest trainers, if not the strongest trainer in the region.
Yeah. Forget age,
it just works,
sort of thing. It's like, you know, everyone always goes, oh, well, they're leaving it to the 11-year-old or whatever. And it's like, kind of true. You've got like 6, 7...
The 11-year-old just put Cynthia in a box, okay? I'm trusting the 11-year-old, all right?
Yeah. It's exactly that. It's like, man, this is Max down when I can see he plays, man. Like,
yeah, exactly. Do you know? That's how I'm feeling right now. So, okay, now I'll be real with you, Luke. Mm-hmm. Did you think they'd actually do it? Did you think they'd fucking kill AZ?
No, you should have seen my jaw drop when it happened. I
mean, you could see mine. Again, my live show streamed the whole thing. You could see me go like, what the fuck? I didn't think they'd do it. What the hell? They killed it. They killed my boy.
I was literally like so emotional because I just finished the game and I was like, I've done it. And you see the title screen and I messaged my friend. I was like, I've just done it. And then I look back and I'm like, excuse me? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. It's insane. And the fact that the grave is still there in the game. I don't know if you've been to the graveyard since.
No, you can go there, yes.
Well, I don't remember how it looks before it's there. I'm just guessing that it's just an empty bit of land.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Because I've obviously not seen it since. But like, next time I replay the game and I see that there, I'm going to be like, oh man. Oh no.
Oh no, there's a plot of land just perfectly made. I wonder who's going to be there. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. It
It's
sucks.
it's so good though. It's like the
Yeah.
payoff is so deserved. In terms of just knitting up AZ's story to show that is quite bold from a Pokemon game. I think in other games less so, obviously, but within the context of Pokemon itself, it really is. And like
A bit of a bold decision, isn't it?
yeah, full props to them to like not just sit there and go, as you said earlier on, just allude to it. It's like, no, we're going to do this and we're going to go through with it. And then the parallels and stuff to Lysander and that is really nice. And it's obviously not lost on anyone that he looks exactly the same. But yeah, it's really cool. Fair play to them because they didn't have to.
I think especially like games that are like more made for a children's audience kind of need like moments like that. Where like even if it's not necessarily death, you just need moments of like introspection, as I like to call it. There's a reason why everyone who talks about playing Donkey Kong Country as a kid remembers the classic ambience, you know? Because that was the level that like really like gave you like that feeling of vibes, you know?
Yeah.
Or like anyone who played Mario Galaxy remembers like the music in like Cosmic Cove, you know? Like you need those like more grounded moments. And those, I think when you have those more grounded moments in, you know, joyful whimsy sort of games, I think those are the pieces of media that stick with you forever.
Absolutely.
You know?
I think
And
like the soundtrack wise, I love a lot of the soundtrack, but my favourite song is the Hotel Z one because that is the same one as what plays in X and Y when AZ reunites with Floette, but it's just put on a piano and slowed down.
Really?
It's the same
I did
song.
not put that together.
Yeah. Go and have a listen after this. Go and have a little listen to both. It's the exact same song.
Killer. Absolutely killer. But I did realize though that I don't really talk about I didn't really talk about characters. I didn't talk about characters. You talked about Jacinth.
Yeah.
All right. Mum said it was my turn. Mum said it was my turn to talk about the characters I like. I'll be real. If there's gonna be one standout I want to talk, it's definitely Naveen. I'm sorry. Naveen is like my standout character. If I was to have one, you know. Also in the comments, by the way, let me know who your standout character is. I think it has to be Naveen for me. Naveen's role in the story is also quite interesting in that Naveen kind of offers like that kind of grounded element. Whereas like Tawny Urbane is like got their head in the clouds. Naveen offers like I would say a realistic level of groundedness where it never comes across as they're being like nihilistic or like pessimistic or anything. They almost just feel like real.
Yeah.
Especially during the Endgame. I think the Endgame is where like Naveen really came around to me. Because like when AZ was telling us about like, oh, like fucking Ange, right? Naveen was just like, yo, what the like Naveen had like a moment where like, what the hell is this? Like what are we doing here? Like are you serious, man?
Yeah.
And I just thought, I just like that. I just really like how Naveen is kind of almost how a normal person to some degree would react to it. In that they're not super invested because like at the end of the day, Naveen just wants to knit and watch their favorite stream. But at the same time, when they do find out about the weird shit that's happening, they're just kind of like, what the hell is... AC, I thought you were like the guy. What the hell did you get up to the last 3,000 years?
Yeah.
There's always a bit of that attitude that like kind of like won me over with Naveen.
Yeah, I think like I really like Naveen's energy as well. It just feels like such a more chilled energy. Like they're just like, oh, I'm not going to get involved with this if I don't like it. But then also being really obsessive over stuff like Canary and that. It's like everyone has that. Like for example, we'll probably go into work or whatever and be relatively chilled. But then like if we start playing Pokemon or talking about Pokemon, your energy just hits a different level. And then maybe it's sort of, you know, you're a bit more chill with some of the other stuff and a bit more realistic. So, yeah, I agree. A really, really cool character.
Yeah, it really feels like just real. That's the thing about Naveen. Naveen just feels like a real person. Again, they have their obsessions. The moment someone starts talking shit about Canary, like when fucking Tony rage baits Naveen, who are you watching? Like, who now? Their name is Canary. I'm just like, there's someone who's like that about Sir Musty. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
Scary stuff, Luke. Honestly, are you like that with a streamer?
Yeah, no, I'm not really. Surmus is the only streamer I watch, by the way. So
I don't know. I've seen you in some of those YouTuber chats.
I have
man. I don't know.
I have not.
I've seen you
vehemently deny these claims.
Okay, I won't tell him. I'll tell him later. Okay.
Do you mean you're gonna tell him later? There's no.
I'll tell him. I'll tell him later. Don't worry. I'll tell him later.
This is actually crazy. He just starts slandering me.
I've seen where you've been at, Luke.
My lawyers will be in touch.
Let's not get into that yet. But so your standout is Jacinth. Mine is Naveen. Who would you say was like a character that didn't really like enamor you? Who's like your low light?
Emma, I'll be real.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that one.
So
I think for me, it was more so Emma that like I wish Emma had a bigger role.
Yeah.
She's one of the few like returning characters, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of hoping, oh, like she has a bit more of a role. With Mabel, I kind of got it because, like, yeah, she's on like house arrest basically. You know, like it made sense. Okay, like she's like, yeah, she's locked up, right? All you have to do is say that she looked at me funny and she's getting locked up again. You know what I mean? She's trying to stay as chill as possible. Which also, I love how mean she is, by the way. I fucking love Mabel.
Put more mean girls in the game, Game Freak.
Genuinely, we need more mean girls in video games. Like, also, Griselle and Mabel. As for Emma, yeah, it just feels like... And also, it doesn't help that like, the part of the story you did play with her was really fun. So, like, can we get, like, a bit more of you?
Yeah.
You know?
It's really frustrating because she has a character there that already had a really good character arc. And it's sort of like, okay, well, she's in charge of it now. That's amazing. She's on the box art. She has a Mega Lucario on the box art, which she never uses. And she's kind of not really involved. It's like we're doing the investigating bar the stuff with Ivor, which, again, she was actually a really nice sounding board to reflect, or more of like a mirror to reflect off of Ivor, which is really, really cool. That was so funny, that arc.
Again, that buddy cop thing they had going for them.
Yeah, that was so good. And then she's like barely involved, and I just want more. Like, where is she?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was she even in like the final bit where, like, do you know, like, obviously, like, it's this your friends are coming together? Was she even in there?
She didn't battle in it, I don't believe.
Oh, that's even worse than in it. Because I remember seeing her. Like, you saw all the guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, I kind of pogged when I saw Grisham and Griselle. I'm like, yo, you're here too? You like me now?
Yeah.
But, like, no Emma?
Yeah, it's a bit wild. And, like, it doesn't feel like she did loads to help us discover what was going on with the rogue Pokemon. Because in the end, it's just like AZ tells us. And it's like, how cool would it be if she had, like, some dirt on AZ and she was like, AZ, you have to confess what is going on now. And it almost becomes like a tearful, more tearful sort of thing where he's like, I didn't want to tell you what I've done and the sins of my past. That sort of thing.
That could have worked so much better. Because, like, obviously, AZ is obviously hiding a lot of stuff from you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, we, the audience who have played X and Y, kind of know his deal. But it would have been nice to see a character that doesn't and kind of, like, piece it together. But, like, Emma's just kind of like, it's not my job, okay? I've not been hired for that. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
She sort of is trying, but she doesn't actually end up doing anything. And it's like, she then falls into the category of, like, potential woman, whereas, like, you've got potential man with X and Y. It's like, oh, if, you know, could and maybe but never will. And that's the issue with Emma. It's like, oh, she could be a good character, or maybe she'd be a good character if you did this, but she never is. Not in this game anyway. In X and Y, in the post game, really cool story, really loved it. It's such a shame that there wasn't more from her, and maybe there will be in the DLC, but it's already too late for me in terms of she should have had more in this main story.
Definitely. And I feel like it also doesn't help that I think her choice of Mega Evolution's kind of fucked up, if you think about her, Luke. Because, like, if you really thought about it, right? Like, her arc in X and Y was that, like, she was kind of, like, manipulated and, like, brainwashed.
Yeah.
So why does she have a Mega Malamar? Isn't that kind of fucked up?
Maybe that's why they're doing it, and she's like, I'm not going to let anyone brainwash me anymore, but I've got a Mega Malamar.
Oh, but wouldn't it be nice if maybe she explained that? Right, Luke?
No,
but we'll never know, I guess.
We're allowed some storytelling. Show, don't tell.
Little Miss Brainwash is going to start brainwashing people for confessions, yeah? Fucking crooked cop, man. Fucking ACAB, I swear. Fucking hell.
Emma's no longer one of us.
Nah, she ain't like us. She ain't like us, man. The most viral part about her was her fucking ass, which, by the way, I can't believe that went viral.
I was just wanted to bring up... We said the good and the bad. I want to bring up the ugly of a character that I think is even worse than Emma, and I feel very passionate about this.
Who is it? Who is it? Go on.
Jet. Jet is terrible. Jet is a terrible character. What's the point?
Who's Jet?
Exactly.
Wait, no, who's
Are you memeing or who's Jet?
No, seriously.
The Quasar CEO.
Oh! Was that her name?
Yeah, it's Jet.
I didn't know her name.
Exactly.
I knew Vinny. I didn't know her name.
Yeah, that's the problem. She's got no involvement apart from at the end they're like, I'm your grandmother. And it's like, oh, okay. I kind of, like, don't care. Like, I care for Tawny, but I don't care about Jet. I don't have any reason to care about her.
Yeah, she kind of like... I think... Is it Vinny that kind of lore dumps the whole deal with the Rogue Megas? I don't think it's even her, is it?
No, it's not her. She just shows up like maybe twice. And it's like, what? And that's what makes it even worse than Emma, because at least Emma's got some like real plot relevance. And it's like Jet, they're like, oh yeah, she owns this thing. The only thing, I think she shows up when we're with Corbeau, when you have the nature protection right guys sort of turn up. And then she shows up in the Endgame, or like post-game, when we're talking about the stuff to do with Tawny's mother.
Tawny's mum.
Yeah. But it's like, other than that, what was the point in this character? Like, I have no idea.
I'm going to be honest. I kind of just forgot about her because I was like, you already tried. No. I think it's because like I gave her a pass, like barely, because I'm like, you already tried the game where the CEO is the bad guy and he's like the worst written character in Pokemon history. Yeah. So I think the upgrade from that for being the CEO is just like a wallflower. I'm kind of okay with that. A shit character, don't get me wrong, but better than Chairman Rose, and that's because she did nothing. And I'm like,
I will disagree with you, but sure.
What, you disagree? You think Chairman Rose is ass,
Chairman
bro?
Rose is a better character than Jet, and I mean,
I'd rather a character that's a wallflower than a character that's actively shit.
I think that at least with Rose, I could tell where the story elements were coming from. It was just there was no. The thing that makes Rose fall apart is that there's no urgency over the Darkest Day. With Jet, she does nothing because like some of the storytelling around Rose is like semi-interesting. You go, okay, this is a billionaire with like a savior complex, as if we don't have enough examples of that in real life. Who thinks they're doing the right thing, but like, and some of the storytelling around Bede and Oleana is relatively interesting. Doesn't mean it's good, but it's relatively interesting. Like, at least there's some story progression there. Jet does nothing, and that annoys me more because it's like, why is this character here then? Why couldn't we just have an unnamed CEO?
I'd rather have a plate of nothing than a plate of shit.
Ah, man. Yeah, but if you're going hungry, I'm going to survive on the plate of shit.
I think that could be an interesting... So, like and subscribe, gamers, for the chairman.
And we're going to fight for our CEOs. We're going to defend our billionaires.
Fight for our CEOs! Concerning, Luke. Very concerning. Concerning indeed. That was fun. Is there anything else? Yeah, we had to... Clemont's dead. I've just got Clemont's dead, and that's kind of it. Yeah, that's what I've got in the notes. Yeah, there are some strange omissions from X and Y. Like, where's the... Like, we hear about Diantha. I'm like, okay, but Clemont is like the one where I'm like, okay... I can deal with no, like, Diantha. I'm like, okay. No main character from X and Y. Okay. The friends from X and Y, maybe they're off somewhere else. Who fucking cares? Clemont, though? The fuck is he at, bro?
Yeah, I think he's off. He's probably off doing something, isn't he? But it is frustrating that he's not there. I think...
No, but he's not even referenced to, like, what? Come on, he lives there. That's his home, bro. And it's dead. What do you mean he's not there? With every other character, I could buy it. That was his house. That was his job. Like, is he literally... I like to imagine, like, post-credits. You know when it said Finn and, like, you're on AZ's grave?
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, there's an alternate ending cut where, like, it fades to black, fades in, and it's Clemont going, man, that vacation to fucking Galar was pretty... What the fuck happened here? Like, if they did that, that would have been sick. But no, they give us nothing.
Yeah, it is odd. I'm kind of a little bit more annoyed that there was no Diantha because I really don't like her character very much, and I'm like, please just redeem her, because I don't think it's that she's gonna be a bad character. I just think it was written so poorly, and I'm like, please just bring her back. She was the champion of the region and meant to be the thing that, you know, we bounced Lysander off of, essentially, and she's nowhere to be seen. It's like, okay, let's not give a redemption arc to a terrible character. Really frustrating, because they do it so well with other characters.
Was Diantha really that bad?
I don't like her character because I'm just like, I feel like there's been times where we just have this run of like poor champions, and I'm like, oh, and I feel like she's one of them. It wasn't a great champion.
Next time on Sir Palkia, the great Gen 6 champion. It actually sounds like fun. In all seriousness, let us know in the comments if you want me and Luke to like great debates. Okay, we'll do debate, weekly debates, Luke. Yeah. We'll see what the comments are. If there's anything interesting, we'll party back up and see if we can have a massive debate. We might do the Gen 7 debate, you know? Is it moderately exciting to be a Pokemon fan right now?
I'd say so, as long as you don't have like a bitch whispering in your ear the whole time. Just going, oh, the windows, the windows!
I was literally about to say, who might you be? I was about to be coy about it, but you just said
No, because the issue is people don't understand being overt anymore. So it's, you know, just stop bitching about
the windows,
stuff.
the windows, like the window. Yeah, I think we did have a bit here for the discourse, but I think it's just fair to say, the game's fun. Just enjoy it if you enjoy it. Just block out, guys. Remember, if you press the 3 dots next to any video, you can click "Don't recommend channel," and YouTube will do that. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to entertain the discourse any more than that. Okay, because the game's fun and that's just kind of it.
We've spent an hour and a half, if not more, talking about this game. It is much more than a panel window. Trust me. So if you've somehow got to this point of it, which I'm quite glad we're doing this tiny, it's only going to be about a minute or so, little dig at these people. If you've got to the end of this, I'm sure you already understand all of this. But the game is so in-depth, either try it yourself or don't. And that's all I have to say about it. Luckily, it feels like it's died down and people are starting to have some colder takes. They're able to sit there and adjust and look at it. Maybe the DLC will be good, maybe not. We'll probably be back at some point talking about stuff. I think you've already alluded to it. Let us know if there's anything else that you want us to talk about, because Lord knows that we could have spent 5 hours talking about this game. I know I could have.
We could. I could have. But I'm like, I got other shit I need to do today. So go subscribe to Luke as well. I hope you're ready for nothing. Luke, when's the next video?
I hope you're ready for absolutely nothing. I'm going to try and get it all together. I've been ill. I've had Pokemon fever.
It just doesn't end this guy. First he says Gen 7 is a good story. Then he's going to say, ooh, I'm ill. I can't make a video. So I recommend people your channel. Your channel's going to be top link in the description for what? For nothing?
See,
fucking hell,
he's going to put pressure on me so that I do something. So I'll go away. I'll try and figure out what I'm doing, and I'll go from there.
We'll leave it there for now. Let us know what you think, gamers, and until next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for having me on.
And there's your lot.